Sometimes clients would just waste a ton of your time and end up not signing and not becoming clients. So how do you know when a client it just becomes like a freeloader, time waster, and what are the red flags and how you can better manage it? We're going to talk about this on this video. Let's rock and roll. Hey designer friends, what is up? My name is Ron Segal. Welcome back to Flux, where we cover design and the freelance and the business of design. And today, clients that completely waste your time. So I just got an email from a designer friend. He was telling me a story about a client that approached him for a website, and then they had the initial meeting. And then after that, the client sent an NDA and then disappeared for a week and then came back for another meeting. And then initially, after he got the proposal and the price, he disappeared again and then wanted another meeting. So it's become like already 3 or 4 meetings over multiple weeks. And it just, when do you say no? When do you just cut it off because you understand they're just wasting too much of your time? So first of all, I want to start with setting the right expectations. Now, you have to understand in general, not every potential client that you're going to talk to is going to end up being a client. So you don't want to just assume every conversation is a waste of time. You're going to know that, let's say on average, well, not on average, but maybe kind of a rough number would be from 5 clients I talk to, just one of them ends up being a client. That doesn't mean that talking to the other 4 is wasting my time. I just need to get those numbers running, right? So that is kind of the basic. You need to understand you will be talking to people who don't end up. That being said, you need to, understand what are some red flags and when do you cut the line, and just to make sure that you're talking to relevant people versus non-relevant people. So there's a few things here. First, you need to have kind of a framework to understand what to expect, right? So I know that usually when a client would call me, it would involve first initial call to understand if this is a good fit. If that works well, then we'll schedule kind of a longer session, discovery session, maybe with some other parties from the client. That would be another call. After that, I would usually send a proposal. After that, they would usually pay, a down payment, and only then will actually kickstart the project. And by the way, that process in general usually takes around a month, at least from my experience for bigger projects. And so I go into it understanding that these are the time frames. That being said, if things are kind of like moving away from this pattern, which I like to go through, I understand that these might be some red flags. So for example, if I had a conversation with a client regarding a price, and again, I always talk to clients about the price before I go ahead and make a proposal for them, because you want to set the expectation. You never want to surprise them with the proposal. That kind of reduces the risk that you're just wasting your time creating a proposal. But assuming that I have talked to them about the price, they said it sounds great, I've sent them a proposal, and now they've either disappeared or they're saying, hey, I want another meeting beforehand, then that would be kind of a flag. Wait, you said okay, but now it's not okay. So before taking on that meeting, I would probably ask, what has changed? Do you have additional information that you need that you didn't know that you're going to need? Are you not the actual decision making? So I'd probably go on this call to clarify, but before going on that call, I would want to make sure to understand that what is the information that you actually need to make a decision. And I want to make sure that we cover all of this information on this call, because obviously you can't have, I just remember one more thing and one more thing and one more thing. That is kind of a red flag that this is probably how the design process is going to look like. Oh, another revision and another revision and another revision. You want to make sure that the clients are well organized from their own side and know how to make decision and know what information they need. Now, it is your responsibility to manage that process. You don't have to, expect that they'll be just good, right? Perhaps they never did a big design project in the past, and it's your role as a design professional to guide them through the process, meaning this is what's going to happen. We're going to have this meeting, and then I'll send you the proposal, and then you're going to pay the down payment. You're going to guide them through this. And if they have questions beyond that, which does happen from time to time, then you need to adjust or consider this a red flag. having a client disappear, after you send them a proposal and waiting for a down payment, I said would be considered a red flag. And I would probably ping them to let them know. And I also, by the way, one thing that I do when I send a proposal is I say, look, here's the proposal. It's only valid for a week or 2 weeks because I need to know how to plan my upcoming weeks. If this is not paid and signed in the upcoming 2 weeks, then, other clients want to work with me as well. And I can't guarantee that if you come back in 3 weeks and say, okay, we've decided to work with you, I might not be available. And I'm just saying this because it is true. I need to be able to plan my time. I can't just have, proposals out there in the open and then maybe 3 clients will sign them at the same time and I won't be able to handle all of them. So I do need to make sure that I have the capacity to serve the people who I give proposals to, and that's why I put a deadline on it. So, and this of course always puts pressure on them to make a decision within a time frame, because if you don't have a time frame to make a decision, then maybe people can assume that, I'll just sit on it and then in a month or 2 when we actually, want to kickstart the project, I'll just sign it off and kick it off then. They might assume you'll be, unlimitedly available, but you want to make sure that they understand whether you have clients or not. This is just, you want to position yourself, as somebody who is busy, who is doing other things. And I'm not just here waiting for you to come whenever you want. So I feel like these kinds of setting expectations in terms of what the process might look like will help to decrease these kind of like time wasters. That being said, you do have to understand that this is dealing with human beings, right? And no process is just going to follow along. People are always going to have more questions. Things are not going to work out. There's going to have, things that you didn't expect coming, and some things might look a little bit different. So I think my general guidelines would be, as long as you set your expectations into what is acceptable and what is unacceptable, you'll know when that line is crossed between they are treating you as somebody who they can waste your time, or if you take your time seriously and if you consider your time valuable, you're not just giving it away at a whim, unless it's very well justified, then I think you will find out that clients treat you better and your time is more effectively spent. All right, I hope this was helpful for you. If you've got any more questions about freelancing and design in general, make sure to put them in the comments below and I'll answer them in a follow-up video. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.